Read user manual carefully before using your cable locator. When preparing your receiver for the operation, check the voltage level of receiver's batteries. It is indicated on the screen on startup. If necessary, replace power elements with new ones. Power elements should be equally charged and of identical type. Before operation with transmitter, you have to change supplied accumulators. You have to recharge them after the operation. Long storage of discharged accumulators can damage their power elements. You should consider general rules of electrical safety while operating the transmitter. All works should be performed by qualified staff with all necessary access, after careful study of user manual. Do not put extra effort in pressing the buttons on transmitter's face panel and when connecting the leads. When performing direct connection, please make sure that the utility is powered off. Please be careful while operating with grounding rod. You can hurt yourself with its sharp tip. Before connection of external power, observe the polarity and voltage level. Remember that working position of the receiver antenna is vertical. The measurement of the depth is calculated from bottom sensor of the receiver to the axis of the utility. It is not allowed to heat hard surfaces with receiver or transmitter. It is not allowed to put them in water. It is not allowed to operate cable locator Success AG-309.15N in explosion hazardous premises. There is a possibility of spark striking in contact connections. It is forbidden to operate cable locator during rain because there is a risk of electrical damage. Do not heat the devices over 60 degrees Celsius during operation and not over 70 degrees during the storage. The devices must be stored in the cases. Remove the batteries before long-term storage. The equipment should not be excessively dirty. It should be cleaned from dirt and dust before sending to maintenance service. Firstly, we will show you how to operate our cable locator without the transmitter. When you've installed the batteries, turn on the device. It is already ready to use in root location mode. It can help you locate any buried metal utility. The frequency depends on the type of located utility. The navigation of the receiver is pretty easy. You have 4 directional buttons, 1 on-off menu button. Everything is displayed at big LCD screen, so as you can see there is a utility near us. This ball shows the direction where we should go in order to locate the cable. While approaching to the utility, the ball will become a line. Align the image of the line vertically with the center of display in order to see the depth and current of the located utility. That's it, you found the cable. Continue to trace it as long as it is necessary. Let us look how the receiver operates in combination with the transmitter AG-105. Let's take a closer look at the transmitter AG-105. It consists of 3 parts. Info panel on the back side of the cover. Battery case with extraction handle. Control panel with buttons and LED indication. On the back side of the transmitter there are 2 connectors, one for the wires and one for external power supply connection. Rubber cover protects the connectors from dust and water. Let's look at the back side of transmitter's cover. Here we can see the symbols used to indicate different values on the lower part of the transmitter. There is also buttons description at lower left corner. Please read the instructions carefully before using the transmitter. Warning: make all the connection operations with the transmitter turned off. Connecting the turned-on transmitter can damage the operator and the device itself. Let's move on to the button part of the open transmitter. Here we have battery case with handle, LED indicators, and 2-digit display with control buttons. Let us connect the generator and turn it on. Connect the wires to transmitter, to the utility, and to the grounding rod, providing the return current. Turn on the transmitter by pressing on/off button. Please note, when turning on the transmitter you have to select the type of power source. AC is for accumulator or BT is for battery. To do that, you have to hold mode button while turning on the transmitter and set the desired power source using left and right arrow keys. Set the desired frequency by pushing mode button and choosing the desired value with arrow keys. Press start/stop button. Wait for the transmitter to heat up. If you want to change the voltage, you can set its value with arrow keys on the transmitter after it heated up. That's it, your transmitter is ready for the operation. After that, you have to set your receiver for the operation. Turn on the receiver by pressing on/off button. Open the menu, choose the frequency menu and set the same frequency as in the transmitter using arrow keys. Then set the generation mode in the receiver. Go to the corresponding menu and choose the mode with arrow keys. Don't forget to confirm your choice. That's it, you are ready for the operation. The operation with the transmitter is slightly different from receiver-only operation. First of all, you can't start locating the cable right near the transmitter. You have to move several meters forward, 3 or 5 meters. If you don't have the opportunity to connect directly to the located utility, you can use transmitter's built-in antenna. All you need to do is turn on the transmitter without any wires connected to it. You have to press mode button and switch to antenna mode by choosing LC with arrow keys. Do not forget to place the transmitter over the utility as it is shown on the picture here. Now you know how to operate receiver solo or with transmitter AG-105. Sometimes you will see a message on the screen. It advises you to switch the receiver mode to graphic. This mode is mostly used when there are several utilities at one spot or the signal is too low for operation in root mode. Graphic mode is pretty easy to use. While using root mode, you press up button and you see the scale appear on the screen. This scale represents the level of signal received from the utility. Maximum signal represents the presence of the utility in the area. So, when you move the receiver towards the utility, the signal rises. If you move the receiver away, the signal disappears. Make sure that you are holding the receiver correctly. Receiver's handle should be parallel to the utility axis. If you have strong signal all the time, despite moving the receiver across the utility, you should adjust receiver's gain. To do that, press right arrow key for 3 seconds to adjust the gain in auto mode. or shortly press right or left arrow buttons to adjust the gain manually. Sometimes you need to locate a pipe and it can be crossed over by 50 Hz electric cable. In such cases you can use Graph Plus mode. First of all, you have to enable Advanced mode in Settings menu. Go to Menu, Settings, turn the Operation mode to Extend, press Confirm button. Go to Menu, Modes, set Graph Plus mode, confirm your choice. While tracing the utility, you have to combine two methods of operation, like in root and graph mode. You have to hold the receiver vertically with its handle parallel to main utility axis, and you have to move the receiver from left to right and compare signal levels in order to locate the utility like in graph mode. The maximum level of signal will tell you where the utility is. You will locate main utility by scale in the bottom part of the screen. If you locate 50 Hz electric cable crossing your utility, you will see a horizontal line on the upper part of LCD screen of your receiver. So you can continue tracing the utility as long as it is necessary. Sometimes you will come across several communications in one spot, like pipe and cable for example. Or the signal may be too distorted to operate in root mode. In this case, you need to use the min and max mode in order to locate both communications at once. This mode helps to locate multiple utilities more precisely. Let us see the cable locator for the operation in min and max mode. First of all, you have to enable Advanced mode in Settings menu. Go to Menu, Settings, turn the operation mode to Extend, press Confirm button. Go to Menu, Modes, set min and max mode, confirm your choice. Set the receiver to required frequency, we will use 8 kHz. That is how min and max mode looks like. You see two scales, min and max. Max help you to localize the utility by its maximum signal, like in graph mode. But the data is not so precise in this method. That is why you need the second scale. Min scale helps you to locate the exact place of the utility presence by the minimal signal gained by receiver. We enable wideband mode by pressing up key in min and max mode. Note, you can switch different filters, radio or 50 Hz by pressing and holding up button for 2 seconds. We see two utilities below. That is how we can tell. Upper scale shows minimal signal, lower scale shows maximum signal. What you have to do is move the receiver across the supposed utility location, holding it vertically with its handle parallel to utility axis. That is how you get the best readings from the receiver. You can continue tracing the utility as long as it is necessary. The set of your cable locator includes inductive clamps. They are used for more accurate signal induction, for example in the case when you need to select a cable from the bunch. These clamps may be connected to the transmitter AG-105 or a receiver AP19.1. Connect the clamps to extension port of the transmitter. Set frequency and generation mode, continuous or pulse. Place the clamps around the cable. Clamps should be closed when installed on the cable. Start the generation on the transmitter. Set corresponding frequency on the receiver and locate cable line. When you finish tracing, turn off the transmitter and remove the clamps from the cable. Selection of cable from a bunch. Induce the signal on the selected cable with connected transmitter. Set corresponding frequency on the receiver and trace the utility. Connect inductive clamps to the receiver. Consequently, place the clamps around cables on the bunch. Maximum signal level will indicate the cable you are looking for. Two-frequency mode, also known as friend or foe, was developed to determine the signal direction in the utility. This mode can be used only when transmitter is directly connected to the cable. Here the view of the screen in two-frequency mode. On one end, transmitter should be connected to the beginning of the utility. The ending of the utility should be grounded as far as possible from the cable. After connecting and grounding the utility, turn on the transmitter in 2F mode. It will transmit simultaneously 1 and 8 kHz. The signal from the communication to which the root locating transmitter is directly connected is conventionally named friend. The parasitic signal from the nearest communication on which the generator signal is transferred is conventionally named as foe. Based on the direction of the arrow, it is possible to distinguish friend signal from foe. Since the current direction in friend communication is opposite the transferred currents flowing through foe communications. Signal direction forward is the conventional concept and assigned by the operator for this position of the sensor relative to this route. The assignment is performed by pressing dedicated button when the sensor is located exactly over the allocated communication. That is supposed to be friend. After that, the pointer of the signal direction takes the form. When switching to the foe communication with the signal direction or at the change of the sensor position to the reverse, the sound will be emitted if switched on, and the arrow will show the signal direction back. Before operation, make sure that all power elements both in transmitter and receiver are new or fully charged. When using direct connection to the utility, make sure that your connection is properly grounded. Grounding rod should be in the ground as deep as possible to ensure proper grounding. If the utility is grounded from the other end, start tracing from the lowest possible frequency, for example 512 Hz. If the distance of tracing is not long enough, you have to increase tracing current in the utility by doing the following steps. Set higher current value in the transmitter AG-105. By pressing select button several times, set the indicator to the position IA, then press right arrow to increase the current. Look at numeric display of transmitter. When current is increased, operation time of transmitter is decreasing. Pour some salty water on the spot of grounding rod installation. If it's not possible to check the grounding of the utility on the other side, use 8 kHz frequency, then 33 kHz. Note, when the utility is not grounded from the other side, the distance of tracing significantly decreases because of no return current and capacity connection. You can use route mode to trace the utility and measure its depth, and graph mode for location of the utility if the signal is too weak, without depth measurement. If signal is dropping after some time of moving along the utility, you can do the steps A to B mentioned above, but before doing that you have to move forward alongside the route in order to make sure that signal disappeared completely. If so, it means that the cable insulation may be damaged and the current is leaking through the ground. If you use induction antenna of the transmitter or external induction antenna, place the transmitter in accordance with the indication in axis on face panel. In case of using external antenna, place it as it is shown on the picture. Receiver's display readings can be incorrect while operating in distorted electromagnetic field. The cause of that may be in closely approximately 3 meters radius positioned metal objects, cars, metal fences, manholes and other utilities, and mobile phones. If an important measurement is going to take place, please try to exclude the influence of surrounding distortion. 50 Hz signal is used almost in every electric supply system in Russia and in most European countries. Energized cables create electromagnetic fields which are induced to other conducting utilities, pipelines or dead cables. From one side, this allows operator to locate both pipelines and cables in route mode. Operator can define power cable and pipelines according to the depth. As a rule, average depth for cables is half or 1 meter. For pipelines, it is 1.5 meters and more. From other side, electromagnetic fields created by current induced on pipelines make tracing harder, especially in the areas with a lot of utilities in one spot. The receiver evaluates the position of the utility according to the resultant signal in a given spot. When operating in passive mode on 50 Hz frequency, in case of multiple utilities, the receiver can't tell which one emits the signal. In this situation, the values of depth can be incorrect. It is important to understand that separate cables under voltage can create very weak electromagnetic fields and, as a result, almost absent resultant signal. It may be impossible to locate them in route mode. Please use graph mode to identify the position of such cables.